half an hour or 1 hour or 15 minutes. I work overtime. Do you understand? Yeah. So I don't sin against God. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Hi there.
Why am I here?
Do the video. As agreed.
The people that get famous are people that society needs. So for instance, I've taught Damien Hirst, I've taught Marcus Harvey, I've taught a lot of people that have made it on the worldwide art scene. And I think the reason they make it is they just, by one lucky chance or another, been doing something and hit a nerve that society needs. They need someone that does something of that sort. So if someone like Tony made it, it would mean that somebody somewhere in society recognising his work, something that could be used to make a point or to enable us to see something about ourselves. So it wouldn't surprise me. On the other hand, it probably would surprise me because the sort of points that Tony makes are difficult. If you compared like Tony's work to Damien Hirst, Damien Hirst deals with death and deals with all those sort of things, but it's actually quite sanitized in some way compared to Tony's work. Tony's work leaves you with a funny feeling at the back of the throat. It catches you somehow. It's a bit edgy, unpredictable. You don't quite know where it's coming from. That worrying edge, which is what makes it interesting, is also the thing that means that people probably are not going to put it in a famous art gallery and open it to public consumption.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a long film, does it?
Sure, medium.
A medium length film.
Medium. At the precinct, it says feeding ladies posteriors at the precinct, which is a pub with a disco inside in the 70s.
And
That's my hand.
did you used to go there quite a lot?
Yes. Not now. Yeah, not back in the day. It doesn't exist anymore. I was a Christian then.
What happened to it?
Got closed in 1980. Oh, my crying out loud. It got closed down in 1980. But I was there in the late 70s.
And what sort of music would you have listened to?
Funk, disco, and reggae. 70s style disco, funky music, soul, and reggae. No shading there, no shading. And that's the hand, the big hand there.
Your hand?
Yeah.
He always would say, oh, I want to do better, I want to do better shading, or perspective, right, whatever, and he would come to you for advice. And then you'd give the advice and he'd see, and I think he does this anymore, but he'd put his head down and sort of listen and then say, yes, boss. And, but then ignore it all and just do what he was doing. And he started having, I think it was partly the sort of frustration, he would do this thing with the biros, the drawings, and didn't really, I don't think to start with it lived up to what he wanted. It wasn't the kind of art that he had in his head of what he wanted to do, which is probably something much more conventional. And so he would then start these sort of little messages, and I think some of the messages, the writing, may have been out of frustration.
What sort of things did you used to do before you were a Christian?
Watch sex movies, striptease,
Did you used to drink?
drinking, alcohol, get drunk on few occasions.
And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
It's sinful. Now this song is about a song I used to hate. The song of hate is called Spirit in the Sky by a guy called Norman Copenhagen, Jewish composer. The non-Christian version of Christian rock, it's called Spirit in the Sky. Spirit in the Sky. That's it. Yes, I've still got problems, but I still bear for it. I look young, for example, I look younger now than I did then.
And how old are you?
53.
You don't look 53.
I know.
People tell you that a lot.
Yeah, got a youthful look.
Why do you think you've got a youthful look?
Firstly, I inherited from my mother. Secondly, look was in moderation. Thirdly, faith in God. So I got a youthful look.
Do you feel better for becoming born again Christian?
Yeah, I still got problems. On the whole, I feel better. I still got problems. We've all got problems.
We have all got problems, you're right. We're all sinners.
Yeah.
So what do you say? That's a comedy version?
Of Cliff Richard. I made a statement, Cliff Pilcher.
And did you come up with that yourself? Is there any meaning behind the pilchard?
Yeah.
Just because it rhymes?
Yeah. And it says here, some love, you may call us. And it says here, devil woman.
The labelling, the writing, gave the work a sort of dialogue which was quite interesting, and he could see that I was interested in this, and so he tended to do more of that. And he just sort of came in every single day and would do more work, and somehow or other he got this GCSE in art, and then I thought, well, that was that, but he didn't really want to go away, so he just kept going after the GCSE and kept coming back every day. And I could see at the end of the term I mean, in those days, the summers were very long. We were on the Silver Book contract, which meant you had about 8 weeks off in the summer. And 8 weeks was long. So you got to the end of the summer, and Tony would be going off for the summer. It was really quite upset that he's got 2 months away from Thomas Danby and this sort of supply of support and materials so that he could carry on doing what he was doing. And he was generally, when you went back to enrol in September, he'd be the first one at the door to get in.
This is called the Iron Judgment in the nightclub. This is a bouncer, and he's in authority. He says, you work for the News of the World. If I was working for the News of the World because I had a camera, and these are people in the nightclub.
You respect people in authority, don't you?
Yes, it's biblical. You've got to pray for them and obey them. Whether it be reasonable or unreasonable. It's biblical. Now this is another experience. When I was trying to live the high life, going to the precinct pub, it says town place, and it says there's good button to say, are you the customer with a £5 note? That £5 note was a lot of money in them days. What the teenagers call player, what they call Casanova in the 60s word for Romeo, womanizer. The 60s word for the 60s word for Romeo and womanizer. And they call it Casanova. I used Casanova with £5 note. Well, in the sense that I was a bit prosperous, but now I'm in the black, in the red side.
Do you think there's a lot of people like that?
Yeah, in changing times.
There's a lot of work around that looks a bit like Tony's work, or you could be mistaken for looking at Tony's work and seeing the work of somebody like David Shrigley. David Shrigley is a self-consciously naive artist, drawing in a crude way, in a consciously crude way. I don't think there might be an element of that with Tony. He's not unself-conscious, but I think he's less mediated than somebody like David Shrigley. He's less hip. He's less self-aware. He's less. There's less of the faux in the faux naive with Tony. There is a kind of genuine naivety in what he's doing, but he's not unaware of art practice. I mean, he's forever in art colleges. He looks at artists' work all the time. He loves art, so he's aware of the badness. But he hasn't got the kind of savvy, the streetwise edge of a David Shrigley.
One of my first experiences of discrimination when I was 16 years old.
And did you experience that?
When I was 16 years old, yeah.
And why wouldn't they let you on the bus?
Because I was black.
You can't imagine Melvyn Bragg interviewing Tony, really, can you? It would be a pretty difficult interview. Someone like Damien Hirst comes up with all the right quotes, comes up with a good media image, all of that stuff. And that's what is partly needed, you know. The world of media wants someone that operates well in the media. You can make a film about Tony, because obviously this is what you're doing, but it's not Tony as celebrity in that way. It's Tony more as the outsider that is interesting to follow, but we're not going to engage with his life in the same way I think other people would do on camera.
In the 70s, it was very, very rare to see a black man do well in gender and all these quizzes. Very, very far too rare in the 70s. I'm a head-knowledge guy. I actually like reading books. Do you flirt with socialism?
What do you mean?
Extreme left of the Labour Party. You know what socialism is?
I know what socialism is, but I'm just interested in what you meant.
Extreme left
I wouldn't say I'm extreme left.
Midway between the extreme left and communism.
What do you mean by the flirting part?
Flirt, you know flirt, you know, like sympathetic. Social sympathizer, that's what I meant.
Yeah, probably, I'd say I was.
And, yeah.
What do you think about that?
It's okay, but so long as you can be a Christian and a socialist, but you don't compromise. You can be a Labour, Conservative, Liberal, and be a born-again Christian. But you can't be a communist and be a born-again Christian. It clashes.
What would you think if we had a Prime Minister that were Muslim?
Interesting question, we have to obey him. The laws of the land.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody'd have to be Muslim, does it?
No, but you've got Islamic influence and we have to obey him. It happens in Africa. For example, in Nigeria, we've got a Muslim leader and the law, Nigerian law is that they're going to dress like Muslims. That's the Nigerian law. And as Christians, we've got to obey the laws of the land. You understand? Like Nigerians and Christians in Nigeria. You understand? It's the laws of the land. God gave you a mouth to talk and a brain to use. It works two ways.
What we're doing now, we're going to the bank?
Yes. When you're a fully fledged Buddhist monk, you don't have to touch money.
Do you catch a lot of buses, Tony?
Mainly walking.
Mainly walking?
Depends.
That's sort of like the olden days, isn't it, that?
Huh?
It's like the olden days.
I used to walk you in the olden days. I used to walk you when I was younger. I'm out of the rat race. I'm in the rat race, but I'm out of it. You understand the difference? I'm out of the rat race. You know what I mean by the rat race, don't you?
So where's this then?
Oasis. Christian bookshop. I like books, that's why I like coming here.
And these are Christian books?
Yes, and I got some CDs, LPs and cassettes.
Come on then. Let's go in.
Well, that's permission.
Okay.
The gentleman's not in a rush. I'll go look for your box after. Excuse me, this ladies.
I'll show you the contemporary gospel stuff. This is worship. This is worship here. Christian pop worship and classical music worship. This is contemporary gospel stuff. That's kids music. And this is Christian contemporary gospel music, rock, rock music, gospel, funk, soul, reggae. Also, this is contemporary. Like I see no Cliff Richard in me. No Cliff Richard yet, got an album out yet.
Do you like Cliff Richard?
Yeah. But he's knocking on, he's getting old. He's knocking on. You probably remember her, CC Winans. She's the one in the American jazz.
I don't remember actually, no. Who's she?
She's the one in the American jazz in the 1990s. CC Winans. They went secular. The gospel band called Wine went secular. You understand? They're gospel band. And Aretha Franklin, you surely remember her.
I know Aretha Franklin,
That
yeah.
says there. Aretha Franklin. Alright, well, let's get to the basics. Let's do what I'm doing now. The reason I'm doing that because it's a gift from God, yeah? And I'm doing it to the glory of God. That's a gift from God. And I've been told I'm a natural. There's a few reasons why I do art. It's my strong, and probably my strong point. You understand?
He's got the studio space at 105 that he's had, and that's a proper, legitimate space. The rest of his working practice, the rest of his day is nomadic. he fits in between formal classes. He lives in the gaps between the timetables at various institutions. When students are leaving, when other students are coming in, he's in the sort of penumbra, the sort of shade, the grey area between the teaching, and that's really interesting. But it means that he's constantly being shifted, being moved on, kind of guerrilla raids with chalks, and he's got 20 minutes before a class starts. Whereas having the studio space does ground him. I think it does give him a bit of a foundation and makes him think of himself as a genuine artist.
I'm gonna get in. Oh, this is ludicrous.
You sure you're supposed to be here today, Tony? Watch out you don't get run over.
Tim?
Pardon?
You mean Tim?
Are you supposed to be here today?
Yeah, I'm not lying. That's Tim not well. He's got some meetings to go to. And what's he been locking up for?
What do you want to do then?
Let's go to your person and ring him up.
Have you got his phone number?
No. But he works at East, we have to lead the East Streets.
Okay.
We have to ring him up, see what's going on.
And how will we do that?
Oh boy. I don't know the number off by heart, unfortunately. But I'll find out, so we'll find out somehow. I don't
Do you usually work on a Wednesday?
Yeah. And he's got meetings to go to.
Should we find that number then?
Yeah.
Do you want to ring him?
Yeah, see what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah. It's alright. So you want me to turn up on Tuesday then? Yeah? I understand. My apologies. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. He's not well. Tim's not well. Our boss is not well.
So what's that piece of work that you've done again? What's that piece of work that you've done?
I've just started. I just put some paint down the plywood, hardboard, and I put some paint down. 2 layers of white, so the chalk of the old plastic can show up. You understand? Mm-hmm. But all I need now is some linseed oil to put some linseed oil down, so that they can show that effect of chalk and oil pastels. That's how I got taught at Leeds School of Art, you see. Use some linseed oil, white watercolour paint and some linseed oil. And I'm not here to judge because Jesus' Bible says, judge not and you be judged. Do not all things, that's what the Bible says.
I think a lot of people follow them. I think a lot of people follow them beliefs even that aren't Christians. I try not to judge anybody and I'm not a Christian. I think that's just a nice way to be, innit? Yeah,
but
it's difficult. Sometimes everybody judges sometimes in some way.
I know, we all make mistakes.
And can be pretty difficult to keep that up.
Hi. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. You Muslim? You Muslim? Yes. Assalamu alaikum. More Muslims than Christians these days.
You're probably right. It's a dying breed, is a Christian.
Well, that's the way it is.
It looks like Halifax down.
Extra. This guy was a film told me work. He's called Dave. It's from Leeds School about the student.
Got a gentleman from Leeds School about film to me as well, take some photographs of some of his work. I've got permission, I've got permission to come on for it. Okay. Cheers, thanks a lot.
Sorry about that, boss.
Alright mate, no problems.
Most institutions are so authoritarian now. They're so full of paperwork, they're so full of managerial philosophy that people just want something that isn't that to create an opening, to create something that is a sort of reminder of what it is to be a free spirit, what it is to be someone that is really creative, not someone that is good at passing exams or getting degrees or doing all the outcomes in the proper way and getting all the ticks. Because we're so sort of steamrolled by that. If you're not careful, you forget that art's actually not about that at all. And that's, I think, why people want Tony into the system. They'll bend all sorts of rules just to keep him there.
I help the art technician voluntary, and in return he lets me do some drawings and paintings.
Okay. And when do you help the art technician?
Normally on a Friday afternoon, normally, depending. Hello there, may I have permission to... Okay, thank you very much.
Did you do that then?
Look, this one,
That one, yeah.
that was a photograph. The painting didn't turn out successful, so I had to sell it off cheap. Because the painting was not successful.
And who took that photo?
The lecturer. You want to explain this?
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah. No, this is a photograph we'll be taking put it back to the lab. But the painting was not successful, and that's why it got sold cheaply, about 2 or 3 quid, because the painting was not successful. This is a success. This is about me walking around 1974. They call the walk around Chapel Town. Everybody do the Tomlin walk, it's being platform. That's me with my hands, big hands there, and glasses there, that's me wearing the trousers. Reverend Tina Mobutu, she's a priestess and a couple at the same time. God's copying to the town in the past. Hello there, folks.
I thought he was a tutor at first, and then when I found out he wasn't a tutor, I was thinking, why is he still here? And then I sort of learnt more about him and why he came to stay here, and he's been here for God knows how many years. But yeah, he's been here since before I was born. I think, anyway, about 25 years.
Do you like him being around?
I don't mind him being around, I think he's kind of cool.
You want me to do that in more specific detail? Or just do it as it is or what?
Just as you want.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, boss.
Have you got everything you need?
Yes, just about.
You want that over there?
Yes, thank you. You got yourself right.
And yeah, don't forget, don't put that down the sink. Yeah.
Any more rules and regulations?
It's just that, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Feel like jumping, I feel like shouting now.
This street used to be predominantly West Indian street, a black street, where the blacks hang out. This is our gang. This used to be our gang.
What did you used to do?
Steal conkers and fight and nick apples.
The serious stuff then.
And play soccer, five-a-side Wembley soccer, which was rubbish, yeah.
Did you get picked last?
Huh?
Did you get picked last?
Yeah, rubbish. I couldn't help it. And that's where John Doherty used to, a friend of mine. I see where I used to live. I used to live over there, I'll show you. This is the Francis Street where I used to hang out with. I can still remember them.
Where are they all now?
Well, they're gone to separate. He's dead. No, he's dead. He was a bad guy. And they're all gone to separate places. I don't know, I've seen him for years now.
Anthony Cameron's got a square head.
I know.
Why have you done him with a swear head?
Making it funny.
What about this person with a triangular head at the top? Is that Elaine, is it?
Yeah, it ain't them.
Yeah. She just had a triangular head. Did she?
And it's your imagination. In one of the game, my friends said me and her do for a couple, but she was a bit racist, you see.
Who was? Elaine?
Yeah, that's the brainy one. Eric
Is that brother?
Yeah, Eric Dan. Yeah, Eric Dan. He's the brainy one. I started doing stunts in California, 70 stunts. That's why I don't sue him. It's more the doctor of scientific charity. Yeah. I could be when I heard he was doing stunts, 70 stunts in California.
He's doing what in California?
70 stunts, I couldn't believe it. Sue him.
70s what?
70 stunts films in California.
Like Evil Knievel?
70 star stunts films in California. I couldn't believe it.
He's a stuntman?
Yes, stuntman, don't sue him. He's more the scientific guy. I remember he was a brainy man. Great brain and intelligent. And that was our gang leader, wasn't he now? Gang leader. Where's it on there? That's a bad guy. That's a bad guy. He's dead now. I'm going to be.
How did he die?
I understand he died in the pub. 1 year older than me. But when I remember from he forced me to smoke. I know I'll tell you, I know he would have beat me up. I had to. When he was in the gang, he was a bad guy.
Is this you?
Yes.
You're coloured in, of course.
Yeah. Correct. We should be a gang here. You were the gangs if you had a good and bad guys.
You were the good guys.
Like me, I was one of them. My gang leader called Tony Newman. Eric Dent and John Dalton. But I used to live here.
You did?
It's right here, right here. When it's the oldest building. It's changed always.
I thought you said you lived at 42, that's 24.
It's changed now, that's why I used to live. There is why I used to live 42 here, sorry. 42. That's why I used to live. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Am I talking loud, you know?
Yeah.
The park up there called what do I call it? Tottenham Park, where I used to, I sure it's up there. Where I used to keep playing football with my Asian friends. I understood about my Asian friends and understood my own people. I got along with them back because I was quiet.
Why do you think that was?
They were quiet and I was different. That's why I got along with the Asian friends. First I was quiet because I was different.
I don't think he's accepted naturally by everyone. You've got some people who've known him a long time and accept him as part of that sort of, this is an artist that just goes his own way, and that's to be respected, and that's fantastic. On the other hand, I think you've got people that say, well, this is just someone that's a bit of a Fruit Loop, and we can't understand why he gets all this attention, while there's other artists in Charlottetown that don't get that attention. But they're serious and they're committed, but people are not giving them the same sort of position in some sort of way. So although he's got one sort of position which is, yes, he's respected, and another position which is, but this bloke's not really paid his dues in some sort of way. So it's a difficult, edgy situation. But then perhaps everything about Tony is edgy. Perhaps everything about Tony is a sort of duality, that he's someone that you can look to and go, yeah, that's the soul of the pure artist. On the other hand, you can say, well, this is someone that hasn't had to perhaps sort his life out in the same way a lot of other people have had to, and had to confront the same things, or he's avoided those things in some way, or he hasn't noticed them, I don't know. But I think he does have a difficult situation in Chapeltown.
Now, are you hungry? Are you hungry?
You?
Yeah, what time is it now?
I reckon about 12:30.
Yeah, I'll get some to you. I'll show you this fish shop. I'll pay for you.
No, it's alright.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Now this guy's a Muslim.
Yes, sir. Oh,
No religion for me. Who telling you I'm No religion for me. I thought you was a Muslim. No Muslim. No religion for me. Okay. You got a big, you see, you got a big.
Yes, sir.
May I have fish cake and chips, please? And a ginger beer. You're socialists or communists? Communists. Communists. This guy's a communist. I'm a Muslim. Yeah, it should be owned by Greeks. Mr. Black used to play the football there. And the Asians, I tell me Asian friends up there. We all come full crazy.
Who are your favourite?
Bruce Lee, of course. And in the 70s, I tried to do some landscape painting of this park using 70s style acrylic painting. It didn't turn out too bad. I can't jog around there for one lap round there, I'm too old.
And how many do you used to do?
5 when I was 19 years old.
You still do your kung fu?
I mean karate on and off.
You walk around a lot though, don't you?
Yeah, correct. Even that's green coat back. It's got to, from my age. I need to do.
You gonna go to the toilet?
Yeah, I need to do.
Shall I film you going to the toilet, Tony?
Yeah, I'm gonna pay me debt.
Got a debt at the doctors?
No, pharmacist.
The pharmacist?
Pay me debt.
What do you owe money for?
Go borrow you off them. Got to use your head. Oh my grief.
I'll wait here.
Yeah. Hello there. Hello there. Hello there, may I have a small coat? Would you like a coat, please? Mainly small coat will be in this gentleman. 2 small coats will be in this gentleman.
Excellent. What can I get for you?
Coke.
Coke, 2.
2 coats will be. Small, very small coat. Very, very small coat.
Would you like ice?
Yeah, how much down together, please?
It's £1.30 each, so it'll be £2.60.
And you will say quickly. Okay. And we take quickly, okay.
you go, mate. Thank you.
There you are, sir.
Thank
You
you.
sure you don't want 3 quid?
3 quid? No, it's
Are you
fine.
positive?
Yeah, it's just 260, that was all.
Okay.
Yeah? Cool.
I'm a fine actor as well. And I'm a professional artist, struggling boy.
I've seen your pictures downstairs.
Good. You like them?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I like the falcon dancing man.
Yeah. Like the drawings, do you like the drawings? Are you an art student, yeah? I used to go to it.
Not anymore. I've been to the art college though, but I finished now, so I'm just
You
working.
want to be a teacher?
No, I'm not going to be a teacher.
Why not? Be professional.
I could be, but I don't think there's many teachers' jobs going at the moment. I know.
Come on, you can do better than that.
I'm quite happy with bar work at the minute.
Huh? Bar work! Oh man. Dear me. You're a professional artist. Bar work.
See you later, Tony.
Right. This is called the incident at the baths. That's me here, and that's my Asian friend teaching me how to swim. And I kicked him in his testicles by accident, an accident. Now this is a simple drawing with my big head there, and it's twice the size of your body. And that's a bulwark what is used in the 70s. And I need to be, in the 70s I was trying to get physically strong and spent a long time trying to build my muscles up. And I was a fitness freak in 1976. And it's called Losing the Power Game. I was wearing, in the 80s, I was wearing the baggy trousers they in the fashion in the 80s. My mother says to me, "Boy, what are you doing TV bottom trousers? You're a pop star."
Did that really happen?
It's a joke.
Did it happen as well though?
Yeah.
They're often one-liners, they're often gags, these visual puns, badly spelt and kind of playing with text and image to the extent that you kind of and you know they're spelt in such a way that you often don't get them straight away. So you're looking at them and you're thinking, what does that say? And you make up your own words. So it's an audience he's after, I think. I think that's his thing.
This is called Dolly Circles. Drop the C and add the T. Drop the C, Urkels. Drop the T, add the T, sorry, and you get Turkles. This is Circles, Dolly Circles. And all the secular drawings here. All the circles, all little big hands. That's a breast there, that's the neck. And that's a gap there. It's all done, the hair's doing it. The hair's doing the circles.
I like that.
Yasso, the coolest judo king in Japan. Yasso means Jesus. Olympic champion 2000 to 2012. He's a priest, philosopher, healer, son of God, friend of Japanese tribes. And if he was here, he would drink 1% rice wine, and 95% orange juice. That's the Japanese flag. That's Jesus there. Look at the pencil marks there. It's a joy for imagination. I did that curls deliberately to put style into it, and all this is done by curvature. If we rubbed in curls curvature deliberately, give it that texture and effect, and that's Jesus. Even the mouth done in curvature. And it says here, Yasu goes to Japan. Yasu means Jesus in Japanese.
This is what art should be about, an idea from your head and putting it onto paper. And that's exactly what he does. He has an idea and he puts it straight onto paper. I've seen him sit down in a lesson for 2 hours and just draw, not even talking, just no cares in the world, just drawing.
Why don't you do something out of your imagination on that one?
Yeah, I would do.
Just think off the cuff. It's a long prayer, this, Tony.
Bible, Tony, You have coffee or tea, please?
What are you having?
Coffee.
Yeah, I thought you weren't having any more coffee today.
Huh?
I thought you weren't having any more coffee today.
Mentally.
Need to wake up.
Yeah.
Alright, shall we go and have a cup of coffee then?
Yeah, over there, yeah.
Alright then.
These are Cokes, and she's saying 45 pence please, and that's the alcoholic drinks, T. Hey Gilly. And that's a conquered version of a barter, and she's saying to me, 45 pence please, that's how much a pint of beer.
That's how much a pint of beer was?
Yeah, 45 pence in the gear too. 45 pence in the gear too. Honest. I remember.
I never went in there.
I did. For obvious reasons. You know what I'm talking about.
I never. What is it? What was it?
You know.
What went on in the Gaiety?
Disco and striptease.
Disco and
striptease. On the Christian there.
That's really 70s, that, isn't it?
On the Christian there. That needs to God.
He just needs it. He does. You know, he's in his 50s now, and he just kept going. And my students are fascinated by him, you know, because they're like, they've got this. First of all, who's he? What's he doing? And then I always use them as an example of best practice. For, you know, I say to the students, if you were to say to Tony, your artwork won't bring you fame, fortune, recognition, it won't get you a woman, it won't get you anything, he would still, he has to do it. There's none of those things are really that important. You know, he would still, it wouldn't stop him doing it. So in that sense, he's kind of like it's almost 60% of what I see as a true artist is somebody who is totally engaged in their pursuit, but for its own reasons, for its own kind of, if you like, there's a kind of intrinsic motivation in what he's doing, that there's nothing outside of that he's really after. And I think those things would unsettle him anyway, to some extent. I think he doesn't really respond that well to a lot of attention. He tends to sort of show off, act up, present, and do, you know. It puts him off. He starts to perform in a kind of way which is to his detriment sometimes, when he gets a lot of attention. So I often say to the students, you know, this is a true artist. You know, you're in the presence of a guy who's a real artist. He's in his 50s. He's been doing this for a long time, and he really cares about what he's doing. It's brilliant. And then they get it straight away. They get it. They're all fascinated with his work.
When I first seen it, you know, I felt kind of proud to think that someone like Tony from this college has produced such a good book, and it's quite inspirational for me and a lot of students.
How about do the arty way as well?
What are you actually doing there?
I'm trying to do the arty way as well. Put some art into it. Understand?
I like it.
I'm not having that. I'll have to bring mine back into it.
I want a fully illustrated copy.
Right, are you ready?
Yeah, can you do mine by hand?
Right, here exactly, yeah?
So that's to Charlotte.
I'll be signing Tony Tomlin.
I think that if anybody deserves to have something like that published, it's Tony, because he works really hard. He's totally dedicated to it. It's his life. So yeah, he's more deserving than most, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt. He must be the most hard-working artist out there. There can't be another artist on the planet who can bang out 15 pieces on a morning.
Yeah, he's prolific.
Right.
So, give the boy a bit of cardboard and a biro and he's off.
He's even done the little Brazilian.
Give yourself the art, look. Give yourself the art, look there, it's there.
Yeah, look.
Perfect, Tony. Cheers, mate.
Oh, can I have one of them and that?
Oh, come on, every kind of machine.
Art machine.
Yeah, but that's to my girlfriend and she'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I do love podcast style. It's like punk.
Everybody should. Yeah, just.
I do the podcast style that.
Go on then.
This is what happens when you're famous, Tony. You've got to give you up to your fans.
Wait till Liv is.
Just wait till you're walking down the street and everyone's like, Tony, can I get a quick autograph?
Look, Jason, I gotta do one if I don't want it. Them days are over.
The same place without him, isn't it?
Not at all. It makes it a much more interesting and exciting day having Tony there.
That's my mum and dad, that.
Oh.
Well done, that's your first signing event. How does that feel?
Good. Excellent.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Warm. Katie.
Kitty. 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 K-I-T-T-Y. That's in caps. Meow.
Meow, meow.
You can put that on, so that'd be a good dedication.
To Kitty the cat.
Well, the good old days at precinct, can you remember? Good old days at precinct, Paul.
Yeah.
Can you remember the 70s?
Yeah, I do indeed.
Everybody went to
Thank you very much.
I remember from the precinct in the 70s. Good old 70s.
Did you used to drink in the precinct, Kitty?
Yeah, I remember her.
Did you used to drink in the precinct in the 70s?
Probably.
I remember from the 70s, people drinking precinct in the 70s. I used to go about the precinct.
Joe.
How many books would you like? One? Or? Okay. And your name is?
Joe.
Joe.
I prefer Joe.
Okay. Nice and simple.
So you. Hi, Alison.
To buy a book.
Oh, this is Alison's a proper collector of your work.
I know.
I've got one of your portraits.
Oh, wow. The sign as well. Brilliant.
Where's Pat Ford?
Pat will be down, I'm sure.
Where's Pat Ford?
There was a whole series of self-portraits he did. Trying to track down.
Give me Alison.
Tony, would you sign Alison's?
Yes, would you mind signing with your...
Okay.
Do you remember doing that?
Yes, at York. I did that at York, I remember. When we signed it here, exactly. Oh, sorry.
You can give that.
Giving up on the signage.
I'm Colonel. Yeah, well, everything rushed. The dash is going here, and I've got.
Tony, thank you very much.
My first memory of Tony, I think, was my first week here as a librarian in Thomas Danby Library. He came up to me and asked me for representations of skin drawn by left-handed socialist artists, which we struggled with, and we eventually got him some Dürer pictures, I think. But yeah, confusing. It was confusing. He's always a challenge when he comes to the library, but always a good one. Never ask questions anyone else ever would ask or ever dream of asking.
Yeah. You're an actor as well. You're an actor. Yeah.
It's great to have Tony in the art room, working in the art room. And I say to a student, I'd like you to go and have a look at the work of this artist. If you like kind of David Shrigley and stuff, this is much more interesting.
Yeah.
You should go and have a look at the work. So they trundle off down to the library to the art section, looking for, going in and asking for Tony. You got any work by Tony Tomlin? So they get the book out. They look in the first cover, and they realise that's the guy who's back in the art room, working in the corridor. It's brilliant, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah.
It's just a really nice thing to do. We had a life model who was rather sort of fond of himself. He'd kind of affect a pose, and he was kind of a man in his early 60s. He thought of himself as rather a cultured individual. This guy had this nice silk robe which he'd kind of loosely tie, and during the break he'd wander around and admire people's work as if an art critic himself. So he'd kind of go around and he'd look at the work, and he'd approve or disapprove, as the case may be. Tony, who'd come into the art class, were all easels around, and this guy's lying back there, affecting a pose. Tony kept wandering right up to him, close as you could get to him, and he would be pointing to his elbow and saying, "How'd you draw that?" Really, really close up. And this guy was kind of, but anyway, during the break, Tony had finished the piece, and the guy did his tour around, and he got to Tony's, and he just stopped, and I was looking at this guy, and he just stopped, and there was a look of absolute horror on this guy's face. And as I went round, Tony had written, Tony produced a drawing of this guy with a huge pot belly and a really tiny penis and really spindly legs. And he'd written in charcoal above the top, "One day all men will be this way." Just this guy, he just didn't know what to do, and he was just, It was brilliant. It's like the best put down ever. But Tony didn't mean it. You know, he didn't mean it. But he sort of pricked this guy's pomposity.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. Brilliant moment. We had a moderator coming in. It was a big deal. A moderator come to look at the course, come to look at the students, like an inspection. We were a little bit concerned and apprehensive, of course. It was at the start, early on when we started the art course, so it's got to be 15 years ago. And we told Tony, the moderator's in next week, Tony. So we want you on your best behaviour. Yes, boss, he said to me, right? And I said, okay, great. On the day that the moderator turned up at college, Tony was there as part of the presentation committee with his underpants, with his boxer shorts outside of his trousers, standing there, you know, proud as punch. And as the moderator's walking down the corridor, I'm with Dorry King, the other member of staff, I'm going ahead, kind of, you know, checking the way, and there's Tony standing with his boxer shorts on. I said, Tony, what are you doing? And he said, I'm trying to impress the moderator. And we kind of quickly kind of spirited him into a side room, got him kind of more appropriately dressed, and then he spent the rest of the session asking this guy sort of, you know, classic inappropriate questions about how powerful he was and whether he was a genius and what his IQ was and all of the factors that make you know, that need to meet Tony's handbook of questions.
Yeah.
You're highly intelligent and a natural artist. Surely.
Well, I'm not as natural an artist as you, Tony.
Well, and you got MA. Come on, you got MA degree.
Tony always used to say, what qualifications have you got? How did you become an art tutor? What did you have to do? I want to be an art tutor. So can I get the same qualifications as you? What do I need? All of that. He was obsessed with that for a while. We had members of staff at that point that didn't have any qualifications at all. Like Patrick Oliver, who was a well-known tutor at the time. Patrick would talk to Tony about that. I've only got a swimming certificate. It's the work that's important. And I think Tony found that quite odd. What are these institutions for if they're not here to give you the qualifications to get you through? So at the end you get the chitty that says, now you're an artist. Now you're someone that's a professional. So he always wanted to be that professional. But the problem is, to become that type of professional with a piece of paper, you always needed other things. It wasn't good enough to be an artist. You had to write essays, do dissertations, do all that other stuff that the universities want in order to give you the qualification. And that's an interesting issue. And I think what Tony reflected there is something a lot of people worry about. You know, where do you get the qualification? What does qualify you to be an artist? Is it the fact you make art? Or is it the fact that somebody somewhere has to give you the artist license to practice? And I think Tony was always asking for the artist license. In fact, I think we should print him one.
Listen up, and I'll tell a story about an artist growing old. Some would try for fame and glory, others aren't so bold, and everyone and friends and family saying, hey, go get a job. Why do you only do that only? Why are you so odd? And we don't really like what you do. We don't think anyone ever will. We think you have a problem, and this problem's made you ill. The artist walks among the flowers, appreciating the sun. He's out there all his waking hours. Oh, and who's to say he's wrong? But the artist walks alone. And someone says behind his back, he's got some gall to call himself that. He doesn't even know where he's at. And they sit in front of their TV, saying, hey, isn't this a lot of fun? And they laugh at the artist, saying he don't know how to have fun. And listen up, and I'll tell a story about an artist growing old. Some would try for fame and glory, others like to watch the world